And we're back with part 4 or 5. I'm not sure which. I've lost track this afternoon. And I did find something to finish up this tag before we go on to the next section. I found some mushrooms and Wild and Free in red, which I had already stamped. So I'm just going to add those, and then we'll continue on to the right side of the folio. And I kind of wanted these to fill up this bottom space and be pretty flat. So I'll do it like that. And maybe that could be just a little darker. So I'll start with the mushrooms. Up about there. Wild and Free. Just offset a little and overlapping. And that just gives it something, a little something. So that goes in this back pocket, and there was still actually one pocket to do, unless I leave that last pocket for a notepad like I did in the other one. Which I could do, and I wanted that sticking up because I wanted it over top of the red and over just a touch so that it's lined up with it, or do I want it way off center with it? That would probably be better. More junk journal-ish. Yeah. Okay, so that's that center section, I think, done. I could make a little pad of paper to get back in that back section, but honestly, it's going to be hard to get it in there because this is really tight. I think what I'll do if I do this again is put another little piece of paper at the edge where I'm gluing, just to give it a little more thickness for something to go in there, because that's a little tight. I don't know if that's always a problem or if it's something I did. So we'll move on to this other side. Just gonna straighten things up a little tiny bit here. And this butterfly is gonna go here. And on the other one, I did a tiny little bit more collage around this. I don't know if I need to. I'm going to ink the edges, of course. I did find some postage stamps, but I used a postage stamp on the back side of the other one. So I'll do that again. I'll start with inking this up. To my ink pad because there's quite a bit to do here. I just want to get rid of all that whiteness around the edge. I suppose if I was ambitious, I could fussy cut it closer, but I don't really want to do that. I just want to get rid of the white. It's hard to glue things like this down if they're, like these little bits down, if they're fussy cut. So I would just rather get rid of the white and it'll blend in better. That looks good. And that'll go there. Yeah, this one actually could go upright. The dragonfly couldn't on the last one, but I think I like it sideways. I really do, this way in this case. That's what I did with the dragonfly. What else do I want to put with it? I've got a little baby butterfly that could go with it, or a couple of, I could use this mushroom because I got mushrooms on that tag. So I could use, actually that might be what I use on the opposite side because that's looking a little crowded because I do want this centered. So it has to be a low collage or up the sides or something. And really, I'm quite happy with that being all I do because I like the gray to show. But here I could afford a little bit of lace or something. So let's just see if I have, is this too fancy? It's a little fancy. oh, this maybe. Or just a little strip of this along the bottom. Yeah, maybe that's what I'll do. You know, the green edge was already nicely. Yeah, it can't go up there. Not by Judy's rules, it can't. Maybe this one instead. Yeah, I kind of like that. So it's got some tape on the end, which I will rip off and see if it came clean, and it did. Give me a little bit of a frayed end. And it stuck to my finger. I'm going to go a little past the green on each end, so I'll cut it about here. You can see my fingernails still inked. This is right after I stopped the other video. Right back on to finish. While I was in the groove. So I'm going to put my butterfly down so that I don't end up pushing it up too far. I don't think I want it overlapping the, although I could. I really hate to lose this edge. If I could lift it up, I'd put this under, but I can't. It's been down for overnight, so I'm not gonna disturb it that way. Quite often when you're doing these things, you will cover up something that you thought was great, but the thing that you're doing to cover it is even better, so you just go with it. Like this, quite a bit. And this is just flipping over, so it doesn't matter that that's a little more bulky. And I don't want anything poking out behind there. I could do just a wispy bit of, this is like gauze. And I could do this, sort of up each side. In behind. I kind of like that idea. Let me just, I'm going to save this page. This is the page where I used my die cut as a stencil. I don't want to get that all glued up, so I'm going to set that one aside. And I'm going to glue this just sort of down the side of the wings, this gauze. Hopefully I've got more of it. Yeah, I do. 2 pieces of it. I'm not gonna like ruffle it up or anything. I'm just gonna have it just to give that feeling of wispiness. I'm going to cut that off just above the wing, kind of on an angle. That's probably enough to do both sides anyway. Yeah, I cut up fabric and leave it frayed and just roll it into little rolls and stick it in my bin to have it ready for things like this. And then here I just want to fray that cut edge a bit. So that looks better than just the butterfly in my mind. And right now my mind is the one that matters, right? Designing this for no one else but myself. I think that's why I like this so much. Sometimes when I'm designing kitchens for other people, I have to do things that I don't really agree with, because it's what the customer wants. Sometimes I can make them see why I wouldn't do it and they'll change their mind, but I don't push too hard, I don't think. Maybe sometimes do, but with this, I don't have to. And that's why I probably will not ever take custom orders for this. I did custom orders a little bit when I started doing jewelry, and I absolutely hated doing those pieces of jewelry, because it was usually they wanted something that I thought didn't look good. And sometimes you can't get people to listen to your opinion, and that after 35 years as a designer, that bothers me. So when I do this, I'm answering to no one but me, and I love that. And that's the beauty of junk journaling for everybody, but it's especially valuable to me because of my work experience. I like that wispiness. The other one doesn't have that. You see, it's just the dragonfly. But this just makes it have some movement or something. There's even a little piece of green thread in there. It's not stuck down though. That one is. That's okay. Yeah, so it almost connects it to the lace, but it's not actually touching it. It's just a wispiness over top of it. So I'm very happy with that. And here, this is just a pad of paper. Then we flip this over. On the other one, we have a collage on the back side of the envelope. Just a simple little 2 pieces and a stamp. And I also signed it there. So we'll do that. I just got this open up here so I can see it as I go. So I did have a beautiful day, which I don't think I've used yet on this one. Nope. So let's find one of those in my little box of sentiments. I think that still works. I've got it in black. Oh, I've also got Love Blossoms. So to have a beautiful day, because I'm kind of treating the back side of this like an envelope with the postage stamp up in the corner, and then the sentiment is kind of where the address would be. And I'm doing the red one because it picks up the red in the tab. And what am I going to layer that with? More of the grass? No, because that's there and that's there. So maybe because this is being like the envelope, I'll go back to that paper that had the addresses, city names on it, and all the pretty colors. I don't know if I have more green. Yeah, I do. I have green, and I've got yellow. I was also thinking purple because there's purple flowers on the front, but I really haven't done anything else purple, so I won't do that. Maybe I'll do, so this is city names. I'll do the green because it's city names, and I'll just tear it. I won't cut it. Actually, I've got a little strip of blue along the edge. It's going to be hard to tear that little bit off, but I think I can do it. I just hold down really firmly. This is just a magazine page, so it's a little easier. It's a very small amount to tear off. Usually I wouldn't even attempt it. And then I can go just onto the yellow. Go ahead and rip the whole strip. Back in the drawer. Now these are going to be sideways, but I don't really mind that. I'm just picking them because it's an city names, and I'm trying to sort of imitate an address spot. So I'll leave some of them showing and have this overlapping. So I'm going to cut it at this wide one here. Not cut it, but rip it. And then that's my faux address impression. And that one only had 2, but the piece of paper underneath, both pieces were a little bigger. So maybe I'll put I've got this really skinny strip of the paper, the lined paper. Several pieces of it here. I don't need this in the little booklet in the envelope, but I've got that for that. So I'm going to cut or rip a piece of this. That's plenty big enough. And rip this end too. And ink this. Really kind of not miffed, but surprised at how green this vintage photo is. I know that there's another color of ink called something paper, and it was green. And I'm just wondering if I've got the right ink. There's nothing on the bottom to... I wish someone would comment and tell me if that vintage photo is supposed to be greenish. Because I really didn't think it was. I thought it was supposed to be more brownish, like sepia toned. That's what I was expecting. Because if I look at my other ink, the Distress ink one, it's definitely more sepia toned. I'll show you in a minute what I mean. Got a little glue on my fingers. Because I didn't use my tweezers. That's the other trick, is just hit it with your glue stick and it'll pick it up for you. And do I want these can go this way because that's the top. Just gonna scooch that down a little bit. And then this I'll put over here, and then my little stamp up in the corner. See, that's where I get my fingernail, yeah, like that, overlapping that too. That's coming together well. So you might notice that technique that I do with my collages where the edges overlap, nothing lines up. Like even there, I'll move that out a bit and up so that nothing is sort of lined up perfectly. That's probably one of the biggest secrets to this type of collage. And then I think I'm just going to put this little guy poking out. Just going to grab my pokey tool and just fray this side that's going to poke out. This stuff frays so nicely. Not that this is realistic to have a little bit of fabric poking out from your postage stamp. It's not normal in real life, but I just feel like doing it. So again, my art, my rules. Gives it some texture and whimsy. And I really like the way it looks. And this is perfect, this amount of red with some green. I'm really pleased with this. I need to ink this. This is a torn bottom edge, so I really want to give it some oomph up the sides. So I got enough ink to do it. This little envelope could take a little inking too. It doesn't need a lot because it's already inked in there. Well, the front of it looks like a little collage with a postcard. That's awkward. So I don't really need to do anything to that. I wouldn't add anything to that, but what did I do on the other one? Oh, it was going the opposite direction. I put a butterfly here, and then I made a little notepad for inside of it. So let's see what butterfly, if any, we want to put here. And a bunch more postage stamps. I don't know if I'm going to save these little guys or not. Maybe for now I will. I guess if I could fit that there, I would. I guess I can. I'd go like this, because this is the top. Here. Paris Hotel. Doesn't really fit the theme, but kind of like it. I like the round detail all of a sudden. And there is a little bit of blue sky on the front of this, which I haven't really referred to. Now, inking this edge is turning it quite green, which actually makes it work even better. But it's still kind of blue in the center. It's amazing to me how green that is. Like, really amazing. Tweezers, where are you? I do like that. It's just green enough. It's still a touch of my favorite aqua, and it relates well to this. There's nothing red over here yet. Maybe I could put a little red postage stamp. The postage stamps that I have here are more pink. I think they're too pink. These are just printed ones. I still could decorate in here. This is where the clock was in the other one. Maybe another butterfly there. I've got a butterfly here with some red in the bottom wings. Oh, it's more orange and yellow. I think that would be better suited for a different project, but maybe this wood again, spanning between those two background colors, and the little green butterfly, maybe. Or just that and that. Have one going this way. I'm not crazy about it. I could also have a little piece of lace here too. I saw one. It's gonna go. That was really small and thin. So maybe a butterfly on top of that would be more to my liking. Yeah, I think it would. Maybe even more like that. So what I'm going to do here is run the glue stick along that. It's going to leave a lot of the glue behind, but that's okay. I also have a little green postage stamp, a real one. Carrickfergus Castle, which I imagine is Scotland, but I don't know. I am a bit of a Scotland aficionado because of Outlander mostly, but even before Outlander, I was already into thistles, my company name being Thistledew. And it's not because of Scotland, it's because, and I've already told this story on this channel, but if you haven't seen that video, When I was first living in my first house of my own, I didn't own it, but I was renting. We were renting. First place we had was an apartment, and then we moved to a house out in the country. And I was crafting, of course, because I've crafted since I was a little girl. And I would collect thistles off the side of the road. Not Scottish thistles, the ones you think of as Scottish thistles, but long purple, dark purple thistles. And I would hang them upside down and dry them, and I had arrangements of them all over the house. They were prickly, but they were beautiful because they were really deep, rich purple color. And so that's when I first started using the word or the name Thistledew Creations. That's going back to, I would say, early 90s, like very early 90s, because we lived less than a year at the apartment, or maybe a year, in 88-ish. And then we moved out to the country in 89 or 90. In fact, I know we were there in 90. And that's when I was doing those big arrangements of thistles. It was a lot of fun. I should almost save this if it is Scotland. I should be saving it for my Outlander journal, but I'm using it. And now I don't know if this is too green. If I use, yeah, that's too much green there. Could use it over here. Don't want to cover up the Fergus Castle though. Maybe I'll just leave it at that. It's decorated. Oh, here's the other thing I was going to use was some cutout leaves, but I'll save them for another project. I could just put another little number here. 30 and an oval. Okay. I just need my little notepad for in there. So I was going to use this paper. And I think I can do this without cutting any off the width. Although, if I did cut a little off the width, it might be better. I like that I've been able to use the same paper all the way through this project. I got my big ruler for this. Can you see what I'm doing there? Yeah, you can. And I don't want it gluey. Now you're going to see my mowing paper. I'm just going to cut. I'll leave a little margin. I got this paper in a swap. It's coffee dyed, lined notepad, it looks like. What I did for the other one was I folded it in half and stapled it. So I could leave the notes right on there. Yeah, that'll fit in there. Leave the notes right on there. And just use my scissors as my bone folder, since my bone folder is still missing in action. So just use the handle of your scissors. It's got, these ones have just enough give, just like a bone folder would have. Just flatten that down nicely. And then my stapler is on the back of the door here, so just 2 steps over. Not difficult to get to. So I always try to put it away there, even though I might need it during a video. You just can't have everything on your desk, you know? You need 3 feet long arms to have everything on your desk. It says notes on both sides of the paper. And then I do the stapling with the open end of the staple on the inside of the little notebook so that the outside doesn't catch when you're putting it in and out of the envelope or tag or pocket or booklet or whatever. So there's that, and then I'm going to ink these edges. The other one didn't say notes, so I did a little collage on it, but I don't think this one needs the little collage because it says notes. I find just inking the edges helps it because it's not perfect by any means. This edge is pretty good. This edge is pretty bad as far as being even. But because it's inked and because it looks old already, because it's coffee dyed, I think it's all good. I know it's all good because I say it's all good. So I'll leave it so that you can see the notes. And I even like that it's blue because of that little bit of blue too. So this is all just coming together and I didn't plan any of this that I'm talking about. So I'm going to leave that poking out a bit because that, oh, it has to fold. Oh, and I didn't crease that. I've got to crease the clock. Yeah. So that, yeah, that folds and this folds. That's right. Oh, I still have to decorate this little guy. What are we doing here? 32 minutes. We're at. So we're just about done. And this feels like it's stuck in the pocket. Oh, the tab is stuck. So a heat gun would probably do this, but this pokey tool is going to help me out. There we go. And then I'll just want to glue that back down. Fixed. A little messy. A little too much glue. Here's my little, I know I had a little wipe. There it is. That's a little too much for me to expect my hands to handle. And I never did ink around this tag, so I want to do that. And I think I used the darker ink for this red. I can't really remember, but that's what I'm doing. Doesn't line up perfectly, so I have to decide if I'm going to trim that. I think I will. Really darkening it enough for me, so I'm going to try this. That's better. Can't really get way in there, but I feel like that edge just needs to be darker. A lot of the cardstock underneath showing is, I think, what's bugging me. And it's really hard to get in there. You almost need like a Q-tip or something. Okay, so that's that. Then I need to decorate the tag itself and ink the edges of the tag itself. They look so pretty when they're clean, but once you've started inking, you kind of have to continue to ink for the project. That needs to be cut off. It's just going to lift up. I don't know if you can see that. And you think, oh, what's she cutting off? I don't see it. And, you know, for me being so easygoing, to think that this much of an overlap is a problem, right? But it could be down the road. So I'm just trying to do some preventative maintenance. Okay. So what am I going to put on this? What did I put on the other one? Oh yes, the dragonfly. And a little bit of collaging. And life is collage. Life is a collage of memories and experiences. If that doesn't stick out, that folds in. I wonder if the other one just won't fold in. I should check that right now while I'm thinking of it. Yeah, because of the way I placed it, it has to go out. Okay, so what am I going to put on this? It's coming out of a butterfly pocket. I could do, it's already collaged, so it kind of needs a focal point. Doesn't have to be in the middle and big. It can be a focal point down in the corner and small. But how small am I willing to go? I think I'm going to go to my little goodie bin, embellishment bin. First of all, I'm going to rifle through this box that I've got off to the left, which was all papers from this project, and just see if there's anything in here that makes me go, oh, that would be perfect. I could cut out a leaf. Oh, I could use those leaves that I cut out already, that I had set aside. That one's too big. It's beautiful, but this one's the right sort of size. That could work. Gives me the green without doing more of the green grass, because I was kind of tired of that. The other thing I set aside was this little napkin, and I had napkin on the other, like the green dragonfly that I just showed you. It was napkin. Maybe that is what I'll do, is a little bit of this napkin. This is one of the napkins I got in a swap, and I won't get the whole thing in there, I don't think, but maybe a good portion of it. Just trying to control some of this chaos before I proceed. And I lost my little cap for this. It's probably hiding with my bone folder. They'll be both home for supper, I'm sure. Oh, there it is. It's clear, so it's easy to lose. So, with the napkin, which if you've been following along my napkin play series, you'll know that this first layer often comes off pretty easily. You can see it loosening here. And I made the mistake on one of them to not take another layer off because I thought it was done. Now this one's going to come easy too. Sometimes they don't. You have to start it with a piece of tape. That's why I grabbed the red tape, but I'll just put that back. And then let's just see how much of this am we going to fit on here. I don't really care if I have the flower pots. I don't even care for the pink that much. Do I want to do this? Well, let's cut it out and see. Cutting it out involves a paintbrush and some water, not a knife. I just grab a paintbrush, which is always there, and I think you guys will get a kick out of my little water bottle. It's a little Cheers mason jar shot glass that I just keep tucked in beside between two cups that have tools and stuff in it so that it doesn't tip over. And I'm just gonna go paint the water around the edge of the flowers. And I'm gonna keep going with the shape of it rather than try to get that border in there. And you might be thinking, well, how is water gonna cut paper? It doesn't really cut it, but it allows it to tear where you want it to tear. You can tear a napkin with your bare hands, no problem, but getting it to tear where you want it to tear can be a big problem. So you can maximize the use of your design of your napkin by doing this. And it just goes around the edge where you painted. Nice and tidy, nicely frayed. And now I've just today started a basket of all my partially used napkins. I'm going to toss that piece. And I'm going to try to use them up first. And then these, I will keep a stack of them to stamp on because I can use stamps on them and just play. I could even do that in front of the television. But I also, when I have too many of them, I'll just use them at the dinner table just to wipe my mouth or wipe my fingers or whatever. So they don't go to waste. Now the question is, do I want this on here and more importantly in this journal? I know I would like this on a card, but do I want it in this journal, I guess is my question. Because it's the only pink thing is the reason I'm asking. I do have like purpley flowers on the front here, so I think I'm going to go ahead and do it. And some people will say, well, isn't it messy working with napkins? And isn't that going to be difficult to do? No. I'm going to go ahead and cut this off here because it's not going to all fit. And I want to leave some of my paper showing, my collage showing. And all I do is use my glue stick. Of course, I don't put the glue stick on the napkin. I put it on the card and just kind of roughly where it's going to go. I know there's not going to be much up in this corner because of the way I tore it. And I'll just simply let it sit until it's all dry. This is where my silicone spreader comes in really handy because I can press down on that. It kind of forces the napkin into the glue. I put quite a bit of glue on there. And then what you can also do, and I keep just under my, this is this matte background that I work against, is a piece of laminate. And just underneath it I have a sheet protector. So I will do that, usually with my bone folder. And just, I can be a little more rough with it without worrying about tearing the napkin. Really press it down. And just slip that black underneath there. I need that for a lot of different things. And then I'll just let this dry before I try to put it in the pocket is all, because I put glue on places where the napkin isn't ending up. And just taking this bit that's hanging over the edge and taking it off. It's almost dry where the paper is, but out where it's not, it's still tacky, so I'm gonna let that. And I don't think it needs much more, maybe a little label. Let's see if we can find a little label that we like for it. Like a little word. That blooming one, maybe. Did I use it yet? Doesn't matter, I'll use it again if I want to. If I want to. And this could use a little tidying up. There was something about blooms. Wild and free I already used. Love blossoms. That was the one that I was thinking of. So it's a bit big, so I'm going to cut it down. I'm going to rip it down. And I think I'll take the flower out of it. Save it for something else. And just the words. You can see me, yep. And ink those edges. So one evening when we were watching TV, I stamped a bunch of little sayings out of a stamp kit onto just ivory colored paper. I'm finding them lots of uses for them. So I tend to go bottom left-hand corner with things like this. Maybe I'll just put something in behind it. What will I put? Oh, maybe some music in behind it, even though there's not much music in this journal. Got some nice looking music here. Nice color. Let's put this down on it and then finish ripping the other length or width. So I know where to rip. And it's just like the hint of some music because it's mostly covered. And it's maybe a little big. Let me just check. After I get it inked. Can always cut it again. Maybe a little big for there. I don't really want to put it up here, I don't think. Well, I could. It'll be seen sooner when you pull it out of the pocket. Just nip that off, maybe. Yeah, I would like that better. Yeah. And maybe what I would also like on it is this outer edge to be a little darker. Just for some depth. Two different colors of antiquing. Not so predictable. Yep. If anyone has done a kitchen with me, they know that I encourage you to mix things up a little. Don't do all the same countertop and don't do all the same hardware and not even necessarily all the same door style. If you have an island, it can be different. Those are kind of design principles that I use every single time. And some people are really resistant to those ideas because they think everything has to match. And I haven't been matchy-matchy for 25 years or more. I really like the way that turned out. I'm glad I went with that. But I could also just darken down that pink a little to more of a richer tone. That wouldn't bother me in the least. It darkens down the green a bit too. I'm happy with that. Wonder if I should do my little lines on this too. I think I'll just keep it on that one. Make it special that way. Hopefully this is dry enough to go in here without sticking. I like the way that lines up. So I think that is done. And I'm very happy with it. Very happy with that. So let's just do a little quick flip through. We've got a beautiful calendar page with a wagon and some flowers and a birdhouse. That's one thing I didn't really get in here was any birds, mostly butterflies, but and then when you first open it up, you'll open this thinking, because this is my front cover, the back, the center panel is actually my front cover. Open it up and you see the tree and the butterfly. Open it up again and you see more butterflies, some grass. You flip that out and you see more writing space, grass, and a postage stamp. You got this tag, which says, "Make each day a great adventure." Hi, Mama. Are you ready for a treat? I'm just about done. That's my kitty cat, wanting my attention, which is unusual. She doesn't usually do that. Probably thinks I'm going insane talking to myself. Center panel here, we have this really long bookmark style tag with a nice fabric tab top. Lines on the back from corrugated cardboard. I absolutely love this medallion. I don't know who gave it to me. I can't remember, but thank you. I've made very good use of it. I'm very happy with that. And then my stacked pockets made out of cardstock. Little yarn topper on this fairly plain tag. It actually didn't end up that plain. We got a little hinge and a butterfly flourish. And we've got two more little tags here, just paper ones. They're more like labels than tags. And then this little tag is just a thin piece of paper that I fussy cut. And then a little vellum daisy. That fits down in there easier than something thicker might. That's why I used it. And I'm going to put the vellum over top of the little tag so you can see it. It's pretty when you put it over top of something. And then what we just finished was this butterfly with the wispy edges and the tag. It's coming out, which is a good sign. Love blossoms with the napkin covered tag. You can still see the music in behind it. My duct tape label whale tail tabs. And that goes in there pretty easily, actually. And then that flips over to a little collage with some addresses and a postage stamp. And then our little notepad and the clock. I love all of this. And then this little Carrickfergus castle. Little collage with some lace. And this little notepad as well. So what I like about this style of notepad too is that it is something you could replace. So if you've used up all the paper for lists that you've thrown away, you can then rip more paper that size and the holes are already there for you to copy. And this isn't even glued down. I did glue these two corners down because they were curling, but this is cardstock. I didn't even glue it down. So you could just put more paper in this spot. In fact, you could put even a little more. I only have like 4 or 5 pages in there. But yeah, I really like how these turned out. And, you know, when I watch a folio video where it's all kind of plain brown cardstock, I love them. I absolutely love them. That's what inspired me to do this. But when I came across the calendar page, I thought, oh, I could do a folio and make it like prettier. So that's what I did, and I hope you like it. You know what? I could almost put something right there too. Something poking out. Maybe I'll do like a little specimen sticker. What does this one say? Number 061, $6. No, I don't want to do that. Someone might think it's the price. Maybe the number 73. What else have I got? Got another page of these. 8 ball, magic 8 ball. Let's do the number 73. Put it close to the top. I suppose I could have left the butterfly there. And I had that off to the side as far as I could, didn't I? Leave that butterfly sticking out. Ooh, that's too high. That's too high up in the sky. There, that pokes there, and that pokes there. Very good. You gonna say hello, Mama? Can you come over here and say hello? Get Mama in there. Yep. Hey, Mama. Over here. Hey, Mama. Hey, Mama. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you have fun making one. Everyone usually has an old calendar that they can play with. And if you don't, start looking for them at yard sales and thrift stores and places like that, because you can find them. People do donate things like that. Anyway, like, subscribe, comment, share, but most of all, have a great day.